What if the real reason you've been feeling tired, disconnected, or just not like yourself, wasn't age? Wasn't weakness? And certainly wasn't failure? What if the thing that's quietly slipping away from millions of men over 60 isn't their strength but their circulation? Every morning, I meet men who think they've simply gotten old. They wake up with cold feet, a heavy body, maybe even numbness below the waist. They think, this must be what 60 feels like, but what if it's not? What if your blood, your very life force, is simply not reaching the places that matter? My name is Dr. Catherine Rocker. I'm a brain and circulation specialist. And for over 30 years, I've sat across from men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who believed they were finished. Who thought their best days were behind them. And then we discovered something else. Their hearts were strong. Their hormones were ready. Their minds were still sharp. What was missing was movement. Not movement of the body but of the blood. You see, circulation isn't just about your legs or your heart. It's about your identity. It's about presence, confidence, and yes, intimacy. And the good news is this: you don't need drugs. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You just need to start in the right place with the first step. So today, I want to walk you through exactly how to rebuild your circulation step by step, the same way I've helped hundreds of men reclaim their energy, their manhood, and their joy. And I'll show you how in just 7 days, your body can start waking up with you again, not against you. Let's begin. It rarely starts with something dramatic. No warning signs. No alarms. Just a quiet shift. One morning, your legs feel heavier getting out of bed. The next, your balance feels just slightly off when you reach for the bathroom light. Then maybe a few weeks later you notice something else. That strong, automatic morning response you once had? It's not there. At first, you brush it off. It's probably stress, maybe I just slept funny, or the most common one I hear: well, I guess I'm just getting older. But let me tell you what I've learned, sitting across from thousands of men for over 3 decades, it's not your age. It's your blood flow. More specifically, it's something called endothelial dysfunction. A fancy term that simply means the lining of your blood vessels, the part that tells your arteries to relax and send blood where it's needed, has gone quiet. And when those vessels stop listening, your body starts whispering. Less blood to your legs means slower steps. Less blood to your pelvis means lost sensitivity. Less blood to your brain means foggy mornings and forgotten names. But the most dangerous part? It doesn't feel like a crisis. It feels normal. You're not gasping. You're not in pain. You're just a little less you than you were a year ago. I remember one patient, his name was Harold. He was 69. A retired Navy mechanic. He looked strong on the outside, arms still muscular from years of labor. But when he sat down, he wouldn't meet my eyes. He said, "Doc, I can't explain it, I'm not sick. But I feel like I'm disappearing." And I knew exactly what he meant. Because when your blood no longer reaches the places that made you feel like a man, it's not just your body that changes. It's your presence. Your energy. That quiet sense of fire you once carried into every room. But here's the truth I told Harold, and what I want to tell you now: this isn't permanent. This isn't the end. This is just the first crack. And cracks can be sealed. We can repair the lining of those vessels. We can open the doors that have quietly closed. And we can get your circulation flowing again naturally, powerfully, and step by step. But first, we need to stop waiting for a miracle. We need to start listening to the messages your body has been sending all along. Because your strength hasn't left you. It's just waiting to be called back. Let me ask you something simple. What do you do in the first 15 minutes after waking up? Most men I talk to say something like, I grab my phone, check the news, make coffee black. Some even say, nothing, I just sit for a while, And quietly, that's where the damage begins. Because the first hour of your morning is not just time. It's chemistry. It's circulation. It's the single most powerful window to either rebuild your system or let it slip further away. You see, your blood vessels aren't just tubes. They're responsive. They listen. They open and close based on what you give them, moment by moment. And after a night of stillness, your body is asking for a signal. Are we healing or are we declining? That signal can be as small as a glass of warm water. Yes, water. Let me explain. During sleep, your body loses fluids through breathing and perspiration. Even without sweating, you wake up dehydrated. That dryness makes your blood a little thicker. Your vessels a little tighter. Your circulation a little slower. And guess which part of the body suffers first when blood slows down? The legs. The brain. And yes, the lower body where intimacy begins. But here's the good news. You can shift all of that with one simple act: drink a glass of warm water within 10 minutes of waking. Not cold. Not sugary. Just warm, room temperature water. It signals your blood vessels to expand. It hydrates the cells that line your arteries. And it starts restoring the flow your body has been silently begging for. One of my patients, Malcolm, age 71, told me this small habit changed everything. He started each morning with 10 ounces of warm water, no ice, just plain. Within a week, he wasn't dragging himself to the bathroom. He wasn't leaning on the counter to brush his teeth. He told me, "Doc, I feel lighter. Like my blood is actually moving again." That's not imagination. That's circulatory activation. It's what happens when the body is reminded how to heal. So here's your first action step. Tomorrow morning, before your coffee, before your phone, give your body a warm glass of water. It's simple. It's free. And it might just be the single most powerful decision you make all day. Because this is not about chasing youth. It's about waking up your biology. And your biology is ready. So now that your mornings are finally sending the right signal, let's talk about the fuel your blood vessels are actually craving. Because once that signal is sent, your arteries are ready to receive. And the right foods at the right time can act like natural medicine. Not just improving flow, but rebuilding identity. I'm going to show you 5 specific foods. Each one restores a different part of your circulatory health. And together, they create a foundation most men haven't had in years. Let's start with the one that surprises everyone. 1. Pomegranate. The artery opener. James was 72 when he sat across from me, looking down. "Doc," he said, "I'm not the man I used to be." He wasn't talking about emotions. He meant blood flow. He meant intimacy. He meant presence. What James didn't know was that his issue wasn't his age. It was his arteries. So I gave him a simple challenge: 1 small glass of pure pomegranate juice every morning, just 6 ounces. Why? Because pomegranate is rich in punicalagin, a powerful antioxidant that boosts nitric oxide, the molecule that relaxes and opens blood vessels. More nitric oxide equals more blood flow equals more life where it matters most. 2 weeks later, James came back upright, smiling, and said, "My wife's looking at me differently now." Action step. Start your day with 6 ounces of unsweetened, pure pomegranate juice. Drink it on an empty stomach for maximum absorption. 2. Eggs or Greek yogurt. The muscle and hormone rebuilder. Richard, 67, said something that broke my heart. "The factory's closed. Nothing's working in the mornings." I asked him what he was eating for breakfast. He laughed and said, "Just coffee. Maybe toast." That's the problem. Because the pelvic floor muscles, the ones that support erection, balance, and control, need protein to recover. And they're starved after sleep. So I told him to do just one thing: eat 2 whole eggs every morning. Or Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of chia seeds if he preferred. Why? Eggs and Greek yogurt are rich in leucine, B12, and vitamin D nutrients that rebuild deep muscle tissue and stimulate hormonal response. 3 weeks later, Richard sent me a video message. He said, "Doc, I feel like I'm leading again, not just dragging my body around." Action step. Choose either 2 whole eggs, boiled, scrambled. 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt with chia seeds and cinnamon. Have it within 30 minutes of waking. 3. Avocado with olive oil. The nerve-calming circulatory support. William, 72, used to grab onto the sink every morning just to stay steady. He thought it was his balance. But really it was poor nerve signaling and stiff blood vessels. I told him to try something that sounded too simple: half an avocado, mashed, with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. It became his daily ritual. Why does it work? Avocados are full of monounsaturated fats, potassium, and magnesium nutrients that relax vessels, regulate blood pressure, and support nerve transmission. Olive oil adds powerful anti-inflammatory compounds that support arterial elasticity. 3 days in, William said, "I don't need to lean on the counter anymore. My legs feel lighter." Action step. Before or with breakfast, eat 1/2 avocado, 1 teaspoon extra virgin olive oil, optionally, spread on whole grain toast. 4. Blackberries or watermelon. The lower body blood flow activator. Bill, 65, was skeptical. "Doc, fruit's not gonna fix what's happening down there," I smiled. "Give me 7 days." We added a handful of blackberries to his morning yogurt. Why? Because blackberries are packed with anthocyanins, compounds that strengthen blood vessel walls and improve elasticity. They also reduce inflammation and support nerve sensitivity. Alternatively, I recommend watermelon, which contains L-citrulline, a compound that converts to nitric oxide and targets pelvic blood flow. After a week, Bill called me and said, "I'm waking up with something I haven't felt in years." Action step. Add to breakfast 1/2 cup fresh blackberries or 2 slices of watermelon, morning only, on empty stomach. 5. Pumpkin seeds. The nighttime repair mineral. Don, 66, had a different complaint. "I'm up 3 times a night to pee, and by morning, I feel exhausted." We looked deeper. His prostate was enlarged, and his testosterone was low. So I gave him a mineral-rich habit: 1 tablespoon of raw pumpkin seeds at night. Why? Pumpkin seeds contain zinc, supports testosterone and prostate health; magnesium calms vessels, improves sleep; phytosterols help shrink enlarged prostate tissue. Within 2 weeks, Don was sleeping deeper. By 4 weeks, he said, "My mornings feel like mine again." Action step. Every evening before bed, eat 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds. Can be paired with banana or Greek yogurt. Each of these foods on their own can make a difference. But combined together, they create a rhythm, a flow, a restoration system your body has been waiting for. And once these nutrients begin working together, something incredible happens, which we'll talk about next. Because your transformation may not take months. It may begin in just 7 days. Let me tell you something most men over 60 don't hear enough: your body is still listening. Even now. Even if it's been months, or years. Even if you've quietly told yourself, maybe this is just how it ends, it's not. Because the male body, especially yours, has something remarkable built in: a memory for healing. And when you give it the right signals, warm water, nourishing foods, gentle morning movement, the response can begin faster than you'd ever expect. Let me show you what that looks like. After 7 days, the quiet return. Most men don't even notice it at first. It's subtle. But then one morning, your legs feel lighter as you step out of bed. Your feet aren't cold like they used to be. You walk into the kitchen and realize you're not leaning on the counter anymore. You feel steadier, more grounded, more awake. Some men tell me they're sleeping a little deeper. That they're not waking up at 2 a.m. to use the bathroom. That their mind feels just a little clearer by mid-morning. That's not magic. That's circulation returning. After 14 days, the spark comes back. By now, things begin to shift emotionally, too. You wake up not just feeling rested, but ready. There's a sense of focus you haven't felt in a while. A quiet confidence as you move throughout your day. And for many men, something returns that they hadn't even dared to hope for: morning response. Not forced. Not from a pill. Just back. Your body, responding like it remembers how to be a man again. After 30 days presence, power, and peace at this point, men often tell me something unexpected. Not just "I have more energy," but "I feel like I'm back inside my body." That's the moment I live for as a doctor. Because the goal here isn't just blood flow. It's reconnection. To your strength. To your intimacy. To the rhythm of being alive in your own skin. One man told me, "Doc, I walk into the room and I feel present again." My wife noticed it. But more importantly, I noticed it. And here's the key: that man didn't do anything extreme. He didn't go on a strict diet. He didn't join a gym. He didn't take a prescription. He simply started. One glass of water. One pomegranate. One bowl of yogurt. 1 minute of movement. And he stayed consistent. Because real healing doesn't scream. It whispers. It builds. And one morning, you wake up and realize you're not waiting to feel alive anymore. You already do. By now, you've probably felt it. This isn't just about blood. It never was. Because when a man's circulation fades, he doesn't just feel tired, he starts to feel distant. Distant from his energy. Distant from his reflection. Sometimes, even distant from the people he loves most. And the cruelest part? He can still walk. Still work. Still smile politely. But inside, something feels like it's quietly slipping away. I've seen it in their eyes. That quiet look of, "I'm not sure who I am anymore, but let me tell you something as clearly as I can." Circulation is not just biology. It's identity. Because when blood flows, you feel present. You speak with certainty. You laugh from your belly. You walk into a room and feel seen. You don't just exist. You arrive. And when blood moves through the legs, the heart, the pelvis, the brain, it sends more than oxygen. It sends confidence. It tells your body, we are still alive. We are still capable. We are still men. That's what was missing. Not testosterone. Not just strength. But the flow of who you are, returning to the places that forgot how to feel it. One man, Edward, 74, told me, "Doc, I'm not doing this for sex or to feel young again. I'm doing this because I want to walk into my granddaughter's wedding and not feel invisible." And I nodded. Because that's the shift. When blood returns, so does purpose. So does presence. So does you. And if no one's ever told you this before, hear it now. You're still in there. And your circulation knows exactly how to find you. Let's help it do that one morning at a time. If there's one thing I hope you remember after everything we've talked about, it's this: you're not broken. You're just underfed by blood, by belief, and by rhythm. And the good news? Your biology hasn't given up on you. It's just been waiting for your signal. Not a loud one. Not a desperate one. Just a quiet act of care. A warm glass of water. A piece of fruit. 2 eggs. A walk to the window. A breath of fresh air. One morning. That's all it takes to start sending a different message to your body. We're not fading, we're rebuilding. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to fix everything overnight. But you do need to begin. Because what you do in the first hour of your day sets the tone for how you move, feel, and connect with the world around you. And if you've ever felt like you've been drifting, this is how you come home. To your body. To your strength. To your role. To yourself. So here's my gentle invitation to you starting tomorrow. Checkmark: drink 1 glass of warm water. Checkmark: eat one thing that heals your circulation. Checkmark move your body with intention. Checkmark look at your reflection and remind yourself, I'm still here, because you are. You're not too late. You're not too far gone. And your next act isn't behind you. It begins at breakfast. Red heart final words gentle CTA if this message stirred something inside you even just a little don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend. A brother. A father. Someone who may be silently waiting to believe in himself again. And let me hear from you. Drop a comment below. Tell me which morning food you'll try first. I read every single one. And your courage might just inspire the next man to begin. Because in the end, circulation is not about blood. It's about momentum. And momentum always starts with a single step. Let yours begin tomorrow morning.